Well, I come from New Zealand, and we're very polite. So when we go to make films, we'd or anything, comedy especially, I think traditionally we don't like to insult people too much. We don't want to offend people who can't defend themselves, I guess. We like to, it's good to punch up, if you know what I mean. You always pick on the people who are, who deserve to be picked on, who usually who are bigger than you. And I guess that sort of, it's that sort of approach which is why I believe that comedy is a really great tool for disarming bullies and dictators and regimes, and it's a great way of poking fun at ideas that are essentially absurd. So in terms of boundaries, there were no real boundaries other than there were certain people that we didn't want to, we didn't want to be oppressing people more with, in another film.
I don't know, you'd have to push them to see what they are. But I wouldn't be able to set a bar in terms of what the limits are. I would say that anything, you can find comedy in anything. So I don't think really there are any limits.
I loved working with Roman. I didn't. I had a lot of admiration for Roman throughout the entire shoot because it was a big job, and then he handled it with so much respect and care and with so much maturity.
Thanks.
So good job.
I'd say the same for Thomasin.
It was especially kind of different, from working on Thrones to not really having any opportunity for any kind of comedic timing to working on Jojo, where it was just, it was there all the time and it was encouraged, and Taika was always kind of pushing for spontaneous moments, and it was just a joy. It was strange, arriving in Prague and getting dressed in all these Nazi uniforms and going in warehouses full of Gestapo outfits, and it was bizarre. But at the same time, for me anyway, it was I was more interested in the kind of relationship between Klenzendorf and between Finkel and where that places you in society in those days. It was great to. I think Finkel kind of follows Klenzendorf blindly into anything that he does, and I think in the movie it says they kind of ended up on the wrong side of things by circumstance. So he is just he's just in love.
I think comedy's really strong right now. I think that actually, instead of making films comedy films which you're purposefully trying to make someone uncomfortable, I think we're seeing a smarter evolution of comedy now, where it's rewarding audiences for being smart and for getting the joke. And you see comedies now which are a great mix of comedy and drama, and it's now becoming this amorphous thing where I think comedy has really evolved into a really sophisticated form.
I feel like I would choose a little, like in Tangled, a little chameleon to sit on my shoulder and to, I don't know.
I'd choose like a massive dinosaur, just sit on its head, just travels me around. Well, she's got this little chameleon thing that goes. It'd be like, yeah, you missed out. You failed. Yeah, you should have remembered that question wisely. It's like I'm sitting on a T-Rex watching TV while she's having to run with this parrot on her shoulder.
I think for myself now, I would choose as an imaginary friend. I'd probably choose who's someone I would really just want to hang out with all the time. I'd just choose me. So just be another version of me at the same age. Well, actually, no, it'd be a version of me, but who's one day older. And then so he would always be able to tell me what was going to happen in one day. And it'd just be me and me hanging out, and just because honestly, the only person who really understands me is me. And
And for your younger
I just
self?
wish I was able to talk to myself, because I just want someone to understand me. He gets me. Me gets me.
And for your younger self, the same, 1 year old?
For my younger self, that'd be me now. How old am I in my younger self?
Jojo's age, for example.
10?
Yeah.
I would have a 400-year-old version of me. So he's like 400 years old. He's like Yoda. So he's like about this big. And just carry him around in a backpack, an imaginary backpack, and just carry him around. And he would just talk behind, just in his ear, and just like, "Oh, my back hurts."
Ronald McDonald.
Why?
I don't know. Probably scare off all the other imaginary friends.
And for your younger self, the same or a different one?
For my younger self, I would choose, I don't know, probably a cuddly toy, like a dog.
Oh my god, I tried to steal the pajamas. I always, for the whole time I was trying to steal something from the wardrobe. It never worked, but I was going to steal the slippers, then I grew out of them.
A mythical creature that's a kind of like, I don't know, it's a little creature called the golem, and it's a kind of a Jewish story about a creature that lives in the kind of, I don't know, roof of a synagogue. So, and there was a little figurine that I had on set that I took away with me.